Huddle lights. All right. So this is going to be a heavy episode. So before it's so heavy, and I'll tell you why it's heavy in just a second, but before it is, I got a question for everybody. So if you're listening on audio, just lean in. If you're watching on live Facebook stream, lean in. If you're watching this on a recording, lean in. Everybody lean in with me for a second, okay? And I'm going to ask everyone to think about something. Ask themselves this question. How do you spell fish with no eyes? Now think about it for a second. And I'll tell you.
Can I give a guess?
Just that's the way it works. So just now you know. Everybody try. Good. Vince is laughing on now. It's really cool if you can write it. It's much better if you can write it.
Good morning, Daily Huddle. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning to each and every one of you who has made the decision to join us here on the Daily Huddle today and this morning. I could not be happier to see your beautiful shining faces on the Daily Huddle. My name is Vince Roundtree, myself and Roland Venata. We together are co-hosts of the Health, Wellness, and Vitality Show. And today we are giving an extension and we're going to talk about diabetes for one more day. I know that we had a 3-part series. Today is part 4 of the 3-part series, but I felt it was necessary. And the reason why is because somebody asked me the question, well, if carbohydrates convert to glucose and glucose gets in the bloodstream, and that's what diabetes is, elevated glucose in the bloodstream, why not just go keto and just eliminate all carbs? Then you eliminate all glucose and your glucose levels are under control. And that is really true. If you don't eat any carbs, your glucose is under control. That's true. Why not just do that? That's the question we are going to answer. But first, we start today and every day, like we do on the Daily Huddle, by asking a few questions. And my first question goes to Andrea Villa. How are you today? How are you today, Miss Andrea?
Good morning, Vince. I am happy. And that's the way I say I am.
You are the way you say you are. And today you are happy. I love it. My next question for the day goes to Mr. Giovanni. And Giovanni, sir, where are you?
All evidence points to here.
100% of the evidence.
Right here. That's where
that's powerful. 100% of the evidence, like 100% of the evidence. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Thank you for that, sir. And my next question, I'm not sure if the lovely Miss CC Carr can talk to us since she's walking. I would ask her what time it is if she can answer the question while she is walking. If you can, what time is it, Miss CC?
The time is now, right now. Can you hear me?
The time is now. It is the only time that matters. It is now. Thank you for sharing that with us today. And so today, I really felt compelled to answer that question on if eating carbs, good or bad. But if eating carbs raises your glucose level, and the definition of diabetes is elevated glucose levels, why not just eliminate all carbs? Because you can do that. And if you do that, your glucose levels will be in control. Why not just do that? That's the question that I felt like I really wanted to give the Daily Huddle an answer to that. But before I do, my business partner, my friend, has some information that he wants to share with you guys before I answer that question. Roland, what you got for us today?
So I was thinking, did anybody actually read the title of today's presentation? The question of the day, if you would. It was something like scary things that most people don't know that happen to diabetics if they eliminate their carbs. If they get rid of all your carbs, if you go keto, you get rid of all your carbs. Here's a scary thing. Some people be like, Roland, what's your title so negative for? What's going on with that? Why not be like, here's great things you can do to reverse your diabetes? Why say the scary things that's going to happen to you if you eliminate carbs? I'll tell you right now. See, most of us have all kinds of good friends and family members and coworkers and et cetera, that are real nice to us all the time. And typically, the people we're around, for one thing, does the same type of activities and thinks the same way and behaves the same way as we do. But on top of that is no one really wants to hurt anybody's feelings. Like it ain't fun to hurt somebody's feelings. I mean, some people can be mean and love it, but like most people, they're like, I'd rather not hurt someone's feelings rather than hurt someone's feelings. But the thing is imagine for a second that you have a friend and they're driving down this back road and and they're going fast because they're having a good time. There's like, whoo, they're going. And imagine that for sure up ahead that there's a small bridge and it collapsed last Wednesday. Okay. But man, your friend, man, they're having a good time. They're on a four-wheeler. They're just whizzing down this dirt road, right? Now you might kind of ruin their fun. You might kind of maybe hurt their feelings if you said, hey, you can't go that way. What's wrong with you? Scary things are going to happen. You're going to crash and die. But would it be the right thing to do? Or would it be better to just let them sail right off the cliff? What would be the right thing to do? I want everybody to ask himself that question. And that's a lot of the reasons why, if you ever look at our titles, a lot of times they're pointed like, scary things going to happen to you if you keep doing blank. Because I could have just as easily had named it good things that can happen when you eat carbs. Good things that can happen. But most diabetics are driving off a cliff right now. You know why? Because they're told, hey, I mean, you can just go keto. You can go keto. You can just go keto and your fasting glucose will go down. All your glucose levels will go down. And it's 100% true. And a lot of people see that and they're like, oh, well, that's great. That's fantastic, man. I can eat all the bacon. I can eat all the eggs. I can eat all the Salisbury steak. I can eat all the ribeyes. I can eat all the filet mignons. I can eat all the New York strips. I can eat all the crab legs. I can eat all the lobster tail. I can eat all the walleye. I can eat all the sausage. I can eat all the weenies, all the jerky. all the cheese, all the chicken. And Vince Roundtree is going to come on here right now. And we've already talked about how, diabetes is the leading cause of blindness, leading cause of limb amputation. Like, people on a daily basis are getting their body parts chopped off because they're following the advice of, hey, just don't eat carbs. Stay on your medication. Manage your glucose levels. Vince Roundtree is going to show you today why that's the scariest thing you can do and why most people don't know it. Is that valuable? Wave at me if you think that would be a valuable thing. Y'all can save people from running off the side of a cliff after today. That's why you tune in to Daily Huddle. Vince, take it away.
Well, there really are a few things that you need to know, because everything that Rollins said is true. It is absolutely true that if you only ate meat, fish, dairy, animal-based foods, if that is all you ate, you would consume no carbs and your glucose level would be under control. And you would lose weight. And that really sounds appealing. Man, well, if my glucose level is under control and I'm losing weight, why don't I just do that? And the answer is a couple of things. First of all, I need to tell you, I really need an hour to explain this to you. But my challenge is to distill this down to like 10 to 12 minutes. So the first reason why you shouldn't do that is because understand the number one cause of death in Western civilization, in the US and in Europe and in Western societies, is heart disease. Number one cause of death. And if you have diabetes, you have an even much more elevated risk of heart disease. So just living in the West and eating the Western diet, heart disease is the number one cause of death. But if you have diabetes, now your risk of death of heart disease is 4 to 5 times greater than the normal person. So understanding that, what does eating just meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs, what impact does that have on your risk of heart disease? Yes, your glucose levels are under control, but you have dramatically increased your risk of dying of a heart attack. Dramatically, 4 to 5 times higher risk of dying of a heart attack. Glucose levels are under control, but you've got a much greater chance of dying from a heart attack and heart disease. And just really quickly, I've shown this before, but if you see this artery on the this image as of a artery, we show this all the time. This is a clogged artery. This is an angiogram of a clogged artery. This patient had no other intervention. This patient didn't have a stent. This patient didn't have an angiogram or angioplasty. This patient didn't take any medication. This patient ate plant-based, and this is what his artery looked like afterwards. But if you want to control your glucose by just eating meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs, this is the side that you stay on, not this side. This side was produced by only eating fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, lentils, split peas, chickpeas, potatoes, corn, and foods that were grown. Okay, but if you eliminate all those foods and you only eat these foods, your risk for heart disease goes up dramatically. Okay, that's number one, the first reason. Number two, the second reason why you don't want to just eliminate all animal, why you don't want to just eliminate all plant-based foods and just eat meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs, and control your glucose. The other reason why you don't want to do that is cancer prevention. This was produced by the World Cancer Research Fund, working along with the American Institute for Cancer Research. And they recommended that if you want to prevent or reverse cancer, what you need to do is limit your consumption of fast food and other highly processed foods. They say limit the consumption of red meat and processed meat, limit the consumption of sugar, sweetened beverages, limit the consumption of alcohol. Don't eat supplements, but look at this one. Eat a diet rich in whole grains, vegetables, fruits, and beans. Eat a plant-based diet. The best way to prevent cancer, the best way to reverse cancer is to eat a diet rich in whole grains, vegetables, fruits, and beans. That is what the best science says from the World Cancer Research Fund and the American Institute for Research, the American Institute for Cancer Research. And if you work towards lowering your glucose by only eating meats, your risk for cancer goes through the roof. Your risk for heart disease goes through the roof. You have eliminated your fiber. Fiber only exists in plant-based foods. Yes, you can control your blood glucose, but you've increased your risk of dying of a heart attack. You increase your risk of dying from cancer. You have eliminated your main source of fiber, which means your gut health has a great chance of going crazy. What do I mean by that? Well, we talked on an earlier Daily Huddle about how the gut produces 90% of your happy brain hormones, your serotonin. And in order to make that, you need to eat fiber. But if you eat meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs, if that's all you're eating, your glucose is under control, but you're not producing serotonin. You're not producing the neurotransmitters. You're not producing the best anti-inflammatory that the body has, which is short-chain fatty acids. You are destroying your immune system. You are destroying your digestive system. You are not getting the nutrients that your body needs. And it's not sustainable. And you're making the underlying problem worse. But Vince, you just said my glucose is under control. What do you mean I'm making the underlying problem worse? The reason why you have type 2 diabetes in the first place is because glucose is not able to make it from the bloodstream into the muscle cell. And if glucose cannot make it from the bloodstream into the muscle cell, then glucose keeps building up in the bloodstream. Now, that's the problem. You see, the body runs on glucose. Glucose is the body's preferred source of fuel. But in order for your body to use that preferred source of fuel, glucose has to make it from the bloodstream into the muscle cell. It can't do that because saturated fat is in there. Where did the saturated fat come from? Milk, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs. So if all you're eating is milk, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs, meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs, if that's all you're eating, now you put even more saturated fat in the so you have made the problem way worse, but you just haven't tested it. You just haven't tested it. You don't know how bad it is. Imagine having a clogged drain and you got this little bit of clog. And when you put the water on, some water gets through, but then you don't ever put the water on again, but you keep clogging it and clogging it and clogging it and clogging it. And instead of having this much clog, you got this much clog. Now you turn the water on, what's gonna happen? It's gonna overflow in a second. Same thing. Same thing. You had a small clog, now you got a big clog. You just haven't tested it. Earlier in this series, I talked about how eating a potato is a test, just like a pregnancy test. And what does eating a potato, what does that test, what is it testing for? How much saturated fat do you have in your muscle cells? And when you eat that potato and your glucose jumps up, that means you failed the test. Because your muscle cells are full of fat. And if you just eliminate all carbs and all you do is eat meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs, you're not eating any carbs. You're loading your muscle cells full of fat. You've made the problem worse, but you don't know it because you haven't taken a test. You combine that with the last element that this is not sustainable. At some point, you're gonna wanna eat a potato. At some point, you gotta have a piece of fruit. At some point, you're gonna wanna have some oatmeal or some rice or some beans. You gotta have it. And when you do, bam, you have made the problem worse. I really tried to squeeze an hour conversation into these last 10 to 12 minutes.
Yeah, Vance,
I did well.
You did fantastic. I'm gonna pop in here and then I'm gonna open it up for questions. I want everyone to imagine something for just a second because you just heard that today and you just learned about that today. So I want to ask y'all a question. Who has ever heard anybody wave at me? Get ready to wave. Get your spirit fingers ready. All right. Who has ever heard somebody say, I'm gonna do some keto? Anybody? Anybody ever heard anybody say, I'm gonna do some keto? Okay. From now on, or you might have heard someone say, I'm gonna go low carb. Right. Okay. I doubt that their objective is to fit into a smaller coffin, right? Like they want to thin up, right? They might want to control their diabetes, but they don't want to hasten their death. So here's the interesting thing. And here's the thing I'm going to ask you to remember. The next time you hear someone say that, do you know what you're also hearing them say, but they don't know they're saying it? Oh, I want to increase my risk of heart disease. I want to have a higher chance that I'm going to have a higher chance of dying of a heart attack. I'm going to make it more likely if I'm a male to have erectile dysfunction. I want to have a higher chance of having dementia, of having cancer. I want to have hemorrhoids. I want to have blood in my toilet because I'm constipated. Because you need fiber for all those things not to happen. I want to hurt more. I want to be depressed. Gotta have that serotonin. 90% of it's produced in the gut by fiber. You don't have any fiber. Guess what? Meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs don't have any fiber. All right. What? Isn't that pretty crazy? Do y'all know, wave at me if you understand why I said scary things that can happen, right? Wave at me if that's the case, if you understand why that's the case. All right, cool.
4 minutes left. We got time for one question, maybe two, if I can make my answer 30 seconds or less.
Tara's got something from Facebook. I just posted it in the chat. Take a look.
Oh, I love this one. Speak to the myth that if you lose weight or get skinny, that you can assume you don't have fat in your cells.
Well,
Oh, Vance, make it quick. You're going to go crazy.
oh my God. All right. Okay.
Okay. Hey, Vance, before you answer that, hey, guys, we have our next 5-day challenge, Redline Challenge coming up in just a little less than 2 weeks. And it's just as much a start reversing your diabetes challenge as it is a weight loss challenge. Like, we have as many people do that. So it's theredlinechallenge.com, theredlinechallenge.com. It's, hey, guess what? It's $1,000. No, it's not. Actually, it's only $7. So take advantage of it. Let us hold you accountable to it. We'll put you down below the red line. You can start the process of giving your body the best chance of reversing its diabetes, losing weight, getting better digestion, getting more energy, getting rid of depression. I mean, all the opposite of those things, right? If we'd have titled the opposite of what I said, scary things, then I could say, join the Red Challenge and all these things will get better, right? So Vance, answer that question and close us out.
So it's important to understand that fat in the muscle cells and fat on your body that you can see or visceral fat are very different. You can have type 2 diabetes and be skinny because insulin resistance is caused by fat in the muscle cell. That's not visceral fat. Okay, that's not subcutaneous fat. That's fat in the muscle cells. You can't see that fat. You literally cannot see that fat. If I had time, I would show you an image of fat in your bloodstream.
You can see it in the Red Line Challenge.
You'll see it in the Red Line Challenge. Fat in the bloodstream. That same fat that's in the bloodstream gets into your muscle cells. And that's what causes type 2 diabetes. It's not the fat that you see. So there are skinny people that have type 2 diabetes. Okay, so it's different types of, it's fat in a different location than the fat that you see. That's the fat that you wear. Were there any other questions that I missed? I'm looking. Sorrel, Gio, did I miss any other questions?
We got it. We're ready to rock and roll. Hey, everybody lean in. Vince is fixing to take off his glasses. If you got glasses, take them off. You know, Vince has got his thing going on. Y'all gotten ready. If you don't have glasses, pretend like you got glasses. Let's all rip them off together. Ready? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Pull off them glasses. Lean in.
You only got one body in this lifetime. If you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live? You've only got one body in this lifetime. So eat as though your life depends on it, because it absolutely does. Eat more fruit. Eat more vegetables. Eat more brown rice. Eat more oatmeal. Eat more beans. Eat more lentils. Just go to the store today and pick up some oranges or some pears or some apples and just have a couple of extra servings of green leafy vegetables. Your body will thank you. Your body thrives on plant-based foods. So if you feel like you can't go all the way, that's fine. just have one more serving of fruit, have one more serving of vegetables today. And that's what by eating as though your life depends on it. My name is Vince Roundtree. Myself and Roland Vanetta are the co-hosts for the Health, Wellness, Vitality Show. Thank you for joining us today. And join us each and every day on the Daily Huddle, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. We will give you something that will enrich your life. We appreciate you. Lisa, roll the outro video.
Excellent
Thank you,
job.
guys.
everyone.
See you tomorrow.